Good morning everyone to Sense of Science and welcome back all of you. So today we will be starting with the chapter of amines. This is unit 13 of class 12 organic chemistry and is one of the very most important chapters for evaluation in boards as well as in your JEE and NEET, and is very simple as well. So this is one organic chapter which can be tackled very simply. Now, before beginning with the theory of the chapter, when we talk about amines, amines also are a functional group. Like you have studied the chapters of halo compounds, aldehydes, ketones, carboxylic acids, alcohols, ethers, etc., phenols. All of them were functional groups. In the same way, amines are also a huge category of functional groups whose properties we would be trying to understand through this chapter. Now you can see a compound given here which is known as ammonia, NH3. All of you will be knowing it that this is ammonia. If I modify this ammonia a bit, I get an amine. Okay, let's try to understand how this actually works. If I remove this ammonia group and I subtract one hydrogen and it remains as NH2, this is a primary amine. Okay, this ammonia, when I subtract a hydrogen and I put an NH2, this becomes a primary amine. Okay, is that fine to everyone? The next thing is, if I remove two hydrogens in it, okay, two hydrogens are removed, this becomes NH and this is called as secondary amine. And the third thing is, when I remove three hydrogen from it, it becomes just a nitrogen attached with three R groups and is a tertiary amine. Okay, amine. Alright, so this is the molecule of ammonia. I have NH3. I remove one nitrogen. Okay, there's one thing I forgot to mention here. If you remove a nitrogen, any other group has to replace it, and that group which replaces it and we don't know, we call it an R group. Okay, so one R group comes and it becomes an RNH2. Okay, one hydrogen gone, so it is NH2, and instead of hydrogen there is an R group coming. Okay, whenever a hydrogen will leave a compound, the R group will also come into that compound. Next, in this case I have removed two hydrogens, so this becomes NH, and if I have removed two hydrogens, equal number of R groups have to come because we have to satisfy the octets. Two R groups, R, and H, and this becomes a secondary amine. And the third case, in which I have removed all the hydrogens from the amine, and that means if I have removed three hydrogens, I have to add three R groups, so N with three R's and no hydrogen, it becomes a tertiary amine. So that's how, by removing an hydrogen to turn ammonia to an amine, let me write it down. To turn ammonia to an amine, you need to do two things. Number one is subtract hydrogen numbers. I'm just writing H, you can subtract 1H, 2H or 3H. And the second is add equal R groups, and generally the R group represents the hydrocarbon part. Okay, and that becomes an amine for us. Okay, now talking about this R group performance, when I talk about this R group can be an aliphatic R group. Aliphatic R groups we represent directly by R, or it can also be an aromatic R group, which we represent by AR. That means, for example, if I have this R group, I have ammonia and I have made it into an RNH2. That means this is a straight chain compound or an aliphatic compound, so this becomes an aliphatic amine. Okay, for example, if I write this CH3 CH2 NH2, this is an amine of ethane. Okay, amine of ethane, and this part is aliphatic. Ethane is an aliphatic compound, so this becomes an aliphatic amine. The next thing is, if I have this R group which is added instead of hydrogen as an aromatic group, that means it's an aromatic compound, a benzene derivative. Okay, it will become an aromatic amine denoted by ARNH2. Okay, so this becomes an aromatic amine. Example, I have benzene ring. This is the aromatic compound benzene, and I add an amine to it, NH2. This becomes aromatic. We will learn how to name them now, so just understand the example. And this was the introduction to the chapter of amines. Just go through it for 10 seconds, then we will review. once again, let's come to understanding the shapes. Let's come to understanding the shapes of the compounds. Okay, understanding the shapes of the compounds is very important, and that's what we are trying to do now. When we talk about the shapes, I have nitrogen here, and in nitrogen I have 3 hydrogens in ammonia. I'm talking about ammonia here. Okay, I have 3 hydrogens, and along with that I have a lone pair. This becomes ammonia. Okay, we are talking about the structure of ammonia first. And according to your VSEPR theory of class 11, whenever we have a compound with 3 bond pairs, these are 3 bond pairs and 1 lone pair, the shape becomes pyramidal. Pyramidal, and the bond angle in a pyramidal geometry is less than 109.5. Approximately it is 107 to 108 degree is the approximate bond angle in pyramidal geometry. Okay, this is from VSEPR. So in the same way also, amines will also have such an geometry for them, tetrahedral geometry along with pyramidal shape, where the 3 bonds between nitrogen and hydrogen, or nitrogen and R group, if I remove the hydrogen and add an R group, will be all sp3 bonds, because these are single bonds, so they are sp3 hybridized, and will occupy a pyramidal shape. What will be the 4th bond be? The 4th bond will actually be a lone pair on nitrogen atom, which means 2 electrons on nitrogen atom. And when there is 2 electrons, we call it a lone pair. Okay, so that's what we have discussed about the shape of the angle. So what we can conclude is, like ammonia, nitrogen atom of amines is tetravalent and carries an unshared pair of electrons. Nitrogen orbitals are sp3 hybridized and amines are pyramidal. Each of the sp3 orbitals overlap with hydrogen or carbon depending upon the composition of the amines. The 4th pair carries a lone pair. Okay, the bond angle in amines is slightly less than 109.5 and approximately it is 107 to 108 degree is the general bond angle. Okay, this was the basics about the shape of ammonia and amines. Alright, now moving on to the next topic is the classification of amines, which we have already done in our first page. We have already done the classification of amines, and we have understood that amines can be aliphatic or aromatic depending on whether the R group is attached or the AR group is attached, the aliphatic group or the aromatic group is attached. Okay, and secondly, the amines can be primary, secondary or tertiary. If there is 1 R group in the amines and it is NH2, it is primary. If there are 2 R groups, it is NH, it is secondary. If there are 3 R groups, it is tertiary. Okay, so that's the basic thing we need to understand. Okay, now one more simple composition we need to understand here are what are simple amines and what are mixed amines. Okay, simple amines are when R groups, simple and mixed can only be in the case of secondary and tertiary, when both R groups in the amine, that means this R and this R are same, then it is a simple amine. What is a mixed amine? When the R groups are not same. Okay, when the first R group is not equal to the second R group and the second R group not equal to third R group, and so on. So when the R groups are not same, we get something known as a mixed amine. Okay, so that was about your mixed amine and simple amine. Alright, so now let's move on to the next topic, that is the IUPAC naming for amines. Okay, common names are easy to understand, so you can do it yourself. We will move on to IUPAC names. Okay, so now what are the basic rules that we need to follow while doing the naming of amines? Number 1, when we have an amine, we will write the name of the hydrocarbon, that is the alkane. We will subtract the E and we will add the suffix as amine. Okay, so that means what is the result? Alcan amine. Okay, the result will be alcan amine. Okay, now the next one, in case of more than one amino group is placed in the parent chain, the positions are specified by giving the numbers to the carbons bearing the nitrogen group, NH2 group. In case of more than one NH2 group, if there are more than one NH2 group, then we will give them numbers. Okay, and we will try to give them the lowest number. This you already know from class 11, that whenever we have groups in them, in the functional groups in a hydrocarbon chain, we try our best to give the lowest possible number to the functional group. Okay, this was the second thing. And of course, if there are 2 amines, we will add di as the prefix. 3 amines, we can add tri as the prefix. And generally, we are given the 1, 2, and 3 case only. Along with that, we will also retain the E of alkane. Okay, when we have more than 2 amines or 2 amines, we generally retain the E of the alkane. Okay, so this was the basic rule. Now this IUPAC rule which we have discussed, that we subtract the alkane minus E plus amine becomes alkylamine, or for more than one amine group we give them the prefixes of di or tri and retain the E of the alkane. These are only valid for primary amines. Okay, so when we talk about primary amines, that is of the form NH2 with an R group, this IUPAC system of nomenclature is valid. But when we are moving on to secondary or tertiary amines, this system is not valid and we have to use another method to name them. So first let us practice a few questions and examples on naming of primary amines, and then we move to secondary and tertiary amines. Okay, so the first question for the nomenclature of amines is as follows. Okay, I'll just write the question, give me a second, and then we will start with the practice. Just 1 minute. Just a second, till then you can take a 10 seconds break. We'll practice 5-7 questions on the naming of amines, okay, so that you are able to identify how to name them. Alright, let's come to the naming. The first case is here. We have a CH3, CH2 and NH2. So what we have to do is we have to write alkane minus E plus amine. There are 2 carbons, that means the alkane is of ethane, but you don't have to write the terminal E, so ethan, remove the E and just add the word amine. Next case, CH3, CH, CH3, NH2. Now, see here, how many carbons are there? 3 carbons, that means it is a chain of propane. So propane minus E, that is propan, amine is the name. But there is one mistake here. You have to write the number in which the amino group is there. The amino group is at the second carbon. So we won't write it as propanamine, we would write it as propan 2-amine. Okay, because it is present in the second carbon, we have to indicate the position of the functional group as well. This one, this is the amine of benzene. Benzene ring with an amine. So benzene, say subtract the E, benzane amine. Benzane amine is also a famous name which can be called as aniline. And generally we refer to benzene amine as aniline, and IUPAC has accepted this name and it's used in the rest of the chapter as well. So remember this, aniline. Now here we have an amine with a CH2 group. Okay, CH2 group, which is the methyl group. It's a CH3 group, sorry, CH3, it's a methyl group. So I told you before also, whenever there is another functional group present with the amine, we tend to give the more prior functional group the lower number, and amine is more prior to the alkyl group. So we give amine the number 1, and we can give, according to that system, we can give this as number 2. Okay, so what will be this called? 2-methyl, alkyl is the less preferred group, so 2-methyl, okay, 2-methyl is fine, aniline. If you write 2-methyl benzanamine is also fine, 2-methyl aniline is also fine, but this is more accepted nowadays. Okay, again, why did we give methyl number 2? We could have written it as 2-amino toluene also, 2-amino toluene from your knowledge of haloalkanes. 2-amino-toluene can also be written, but amino group is more prior to CH2 group. That's why we call it 2-methylalanine. IUPAC nomenclature is a topic of class 11, so we'll just be touching it in brief. I'm sure you must have done it till now. Okay. Now the last one is NH2 amine with a bromine at carbon number 3. Okay. So this we can call as, again, the NH2 group is more prior to the bromo group. So this is called as carbon 1, carbon 2, carbon 3. So 3-bromo aniline. Okay. Why 3-bromo aniline? Because why is it called 3-bromo aniline? This is because, again, amine group is more prior to the halogen group. This is the priority order of class 11. So according to that, the amine group will always get the first number, and this becomes carbon 2, this becomes carbon 3. So this is bromine at number 3, so this becomes 3-bromo aniline. Okay. Moving on to the next question now. Next question is this. Just 2 minutes, I'll write the next question. Okay, this is your next question. The next question is this one. Just see here, this I have just abbreviated. CH2 6 means this is a chain of hexane. Okay, that means there are 6 carbons. CH2 repeated 6 times means there are 6 carbons. So this is a chain of hexane. It can be written like this also. This is the condensed formula. And at the final 2 carbons, that is carbon number 1 and carbon number 6, we have 2 amine groups. That means this is the case of a diamine, because there are 2 amine groups, so it is a case of diamine. What was the rule we have to follow for diamine? The rule was that we will retain the E of the alkane and write diamine. So the alkane here was hexane, so we write it hexane. We'll return the E because there are 2 amino groups. Where are the amino groups? At carbon number 1 from this side and carbon number 2 6 from that side. 1,6 diamine. Okay, this is most important. Because of 2 amine groups, we retain the E of the hexane. Now in this case, there are 3 functional groups which are attached to the benzene ring. We have a nitro, we have a chloro, and we have an amine. What will strike us generally is that we call this carbon 1, we call this carbon 2, we call this carbon 3, and we write it as 1 nitro or 2 chloro, 1 nitro aniline. But that's absolutely wrong. This is because NH2 is the most prior functional group. NH2 is the most prior functional group, and because of that, we have to give NH2 the lowest number, that is number 1. So your benzene ring will get numbered from here. This is carbon number 1 of the benzene ring, this is carbon number 2, and this is carbon number 3. Now name it. Okay. Now do we write nitro first or chloro first? We have to write chloro first, because whenever there are prefix substituents, we have to write it according to alphabetical order. The one which comes in alphabetical order first has to be written first. So chlorine is C is before N, so we write it as 2 chloro, 3 nitro, benzanamine or aniline. Okay, both are accepted. It can also be written as 2 chloro, 3 nitro, benzanamine. Now chloro is before nitro because C is before N in alphabetical order. And next thing is, why is this carbon 1? It appears that this should be carbon number 3, this should be 1, because amine is the most prior group, and the most prior group should get the lowest number possible, that is ideally number 1. Okay, we move to the second case now. When amine, sorry, this is not working. The second case is when amine is not the prior group. That means we are taking the cases when the amine group is not the most prior functional group. There are higher priority groups present along with the amine group. Okay, so let's take 2 examples for that. So for example, I have this as my compound, and I have amine here, and I have alcohol here. Now here I have 2 functional groups to compare, an NH2 group and an OH group. According to the priority order of class 11 which you had learned, the OH group is more prior to the amine group. Okay. this becomes carbon 1 because OH is more prior to amine, so OH will get carbon 1, carbon 2, carbon 3, carbon 4. Okay, so amine will get carbon 4, and whenever the prior group always gets the suffix and the less prior group always gets the prefix. So that means this is a chain of benzene plus alcohol, which is phenol. Okay, but along with that it has amine at carbon number 4. Whenever amine is used as a prefix, we call it amino. Okay, so prefix of amine is amino, so we will call it 4-amino phenol. Okay, the question states again, why can it not be called as 4-hydroxyamine? Okay, and you have to leave the answer for this in the comment section. That instead of 4-aminophenol, can't we call it as 4-hydroxyaniline? And you have to leave the answer in the comment section. Okay, all right. Moving on to the next thing, naming of secondary amines. That's the next topic, secondary amines. Secondary amine means we have two R groups attached to NH. This is the secondary amine. How do I go about the naming of this? The thing is, to determine the name of secondary amine, we use the locant N to designate the substituent attached to a nitroatom. Just understand what does this mean. For example, I have this compound CH3NH, CH2, CH3. I have this. Okay. Now to name this compound, what we do is we use this amine group as a prior group, and the alkane groups, the R groups, are substituents. What does this mean? This means that this amine is the prior group, so it is in between, and the R groups are substituents. Okay, how to go about it? This, to name such an amine, we use a locant called N here, and the name for this amine is N base this, the smaller R group. Smaller R group is methyl, and the larger R group is ethyl. Okay, smaller one is methyl and larger one is ethyl. So this is called as N-methyl. Okay, at the end, with the N, the methyl group is attached, N-methyl, and this is the major chain. This is of ethyl, so this is ethane, ethan, amine. I hope it is clear. So to NH there are two R groups attached. The smaller one becomes the N-alkyl. Okay, it is denoted with the N-alkyl, and the larger one becomes the alkanamine, which is very similar to naming of primary amines. Okay, so let's again try to understand this. Okay, is that fine to everyone? How to go about the nomenclature? So again, taking a similar example. Okay, suppose I have this compound. Okay, this is the compound I have. Again, what I can see, this compound is a secondary amine because this is the first R group and this is the AR group or the second R group. So this is a secondary amine. The smaller R group gets the name of N-alkyl. Okay, so you can see that the methyl group and benzyl group is there. The methyl group, of course, is much more smaller than the phenyl group. It has 1 carbon, this has 6 carbons. So this becomes N-methyl. With the nitrogen, methyl group is attached with the prior name of this. What is the prior name of this? The prior name of this is benzanamine or aniline. So this becomes N-methyl aniline. So it is a simple aniline chain with a methyl attached to the N, and it becomes aniline. Okay. Now similarly, when we will name tertiary amines, instead of N you get NN dimethyl or diethyl, because tertiary amines will have a triplet group attached to it. Okay. So let's come to the naming of tertiary amines now. Suppose I have this as my tertiary amine. I have this chain. Just a second. Yeah. Let's take the same example. I have this arylamine, okay, and but along with that here I have two methyl groups. Okay, just remember from here, whenever we talk about tertiary amines, there are 3 R groups. So in this also there are 3 R groups to the nitrogen, that is one methyl, another methyl, and one phenyl group, the benzyl group. Okay, so here what we will do again, the same thing, the same procedure. The smaller R groups gets the name with N-alkyl, and then we name the amine of the larger R group. How to go about it? But instead of N-methyl here, there are 2 methyls. So what we can do is N comma N, I'll take this color, wait, N comma N dimethyl, that means there are 2 methyls attached to the nitrogen only, dimethyl aniline. Okay, so same procedure here, instead of 2 R groups we have 3 R groups here. So 2 R groups which are less prior will get the name of NN dialkyl. So it's methyl, so NN dimethyl, 2 methyl, so dimethyl, with the name of the proper amine of the larger group. The larger group here was the benzene, and the proper amine of benzene is benzylamine or aniline. That's how you name a tertiary amine. Okay, I hope this naming is clear to everyone. Okay, just one more question let's do, and then we will wind up the naming. This is your question: CH3 and CH3, CH3, and a hydrogen here. So first of all, tell me what amine this is. As you will be guessing correctly, there are 2 R groups to the nitrogen. One is a methyl group and one is, I think we have taken up the same example. So we have taken up the same example. Just a second, just do one more thing. And another CH3 group here. Okay. Now you can identify here that this group is a methyl group, and the second R group which is there is a R group of 3 carbons. So 3 carbons means the chain of propyl, propyl group. Propyl group. So again the same procedure we will use here as well, that the less prior group, the smaller group which is the methyl group, will get the smaller name, that is the N-methyl. So this will become N-methyl along with the amine of the larger group. The larger group is propane, so it is propan amine. Okay, why? Because the N-methyl was smaller, so I got it as N-methyl, and the propane was the larger group, so it becomes N-methyl propan amine. Okay, and of course, as you must be guessing it, this is the correct secondary amine. Why is it a secondary amine? This is because that in this amine there are 2 R groups only. Okay, the CH3 group is there, and along with that you have the CH2, CH2, CH3 group as well, which is the methyl and propyl. So because there are 2 R groups attached to it, it is a secondary amine, and this is how we name a secondary amine. Okay, alright. So with that we are done with the nomenclature of amines. We have already done the naming of benzylamines and arylamines. Okay, one more question is this. Name this.